What's going on, guys? Um, Figured I'd do a video a little bit about myself. Um, I am from Blythe, California. All my family, we're all from Philly, New York, and Jersey, mostly Philly. Um, Grew up in a lot of places, but primarily grew up in Blythe. Um, I definitely grew up better than most. My parents were peace officers, and my dad, 25 years Air Force. He's now teaching it. So for me, I got to live a life that most people, especially most people who look like me, did not get to live. But it allowed me to be into certain things that other people did not get a chance to enjoy. And that is being around super cool cars. My dad had an Integra. My stepdad had a GT 94 5.0 GT Mustang, cherry red with a brown top, SN95. Um, and my mom had a '04 Nissan Maxima, which had the VQ35 DE, 350Z engine. Obviously, there's some minor differences, but the bottom line is, I've always been around, sports cars, so to speak. My brother had a very rare Honda Civic SX2 is what it was called, which you could only get in Southern California. They made 7 of them for Southern California. My brother had one. So, I've always kind of been around sports cars. Nothing like heavy modified or nothing like that, but I've always kind of been around it. Went to school at UTI, got my associate's degree over there for auto mechanics, so I am ASC certified. I just choose not to work in cars. I was a teacher up until a few years ago when I decided that here in Arizona it pays more, believe it or not, to do security than it does teaching. I love teaching. I loved where I worked. I loved the students. It was an amazing job, and it was an amazing opportunity. I may go back at some point, but right now, that's not what pays the bills. Doing security, I get to sit on my ass and do not much. I'm sitting here watching movies, enjoying my day. Got my work shirt right here. But I enjoy what I do, and I work right down the street from my house, so it's really enjoyable for the most part. I've always been into cars. It's for me, it was an outlet on a lot of anger and aggression that I had growing up. I was good at 2 things: cars and football. I was a quarterback for my football team in Blythe, California. But then again, I lived in Moreno Valley, California too, which is just outside, which is right next to Riverside, but outside of LA, about 35 minutes outside of LA. Maybe 45 minutes, I'm not sure. Well, we weren't there very long. We were there for 4 or 5 years, and then in '94 we moved to Blythe, and then from there, that's where I lived until I graduated. So from 4th grade, 3rd grade to high school, and 1 year after high school, I lived in Blythe. I was primarily, well, we lived on the north side, but primarily I was on the west side hanging out with the homies. That again, I had many different outlets. That was one. Cars were the other. Football was the other. My parents were always at work. So for me, it was, I was always busy with something, or church. I love church. I've got 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls, and that's truly been a blessing and has opened my eyes to everything that has led me to where I am right now. I live a good life. I work hard. things are hard. I mean, I own my home. I feel blessed. Um, Me and my older brother were extremely close because for us, most times we were, it was just us two. You know, when I was born in Turkey, because my dad was in the Air Force. And so from a very young age, it was always me and him. And still to this day, me and him are very close, especially when it comes to our love for cars. He loves the M2, and the Integra Type S. You know, I can go on all day how Acura really screwed the pooch on the Type S by calling it the Type S and not calling it the Type R. No one has ever in their life said, I want to collect an Acura RSX Type S. They, you know, it's just a good car. And they've said, I want to buy one, but no one said I wanted to collect one. So to name the Acura Integra Type S instead of Type R, when when it is for the most part a rebadged Civic Type R, why would you not call it a Type R? So I think Acura really screwed the pooch on that, because when you look at it marketing alone, that car would have flown off the lots. But now they can't really hardly move them. You know, 300 horsepower for almost $80,000 in most cases. That's insane. My Redline supercharged puts out 300 horsepower, and I paid $2,500 for the car. Well, about $3,000 for the car, and about $2,000 repairing certain things on the car. But the car ran great. The car runs great now. I've taken it to California many times for car shows and things like that. So how do you then justify 300 horsepower for almost $80,000? My ATS brand new was almost $50,000, but at least it's a Cadillac. If you pay almost $80,000 for an Acura, it better be a used NSX of any year. That's the only way I can see it being worth it. Another car I considered getting at one time was the EP3 Civic Si. I will acquire that at some point in my life. The last generation Sentra Spec V, the one that kind of looks like the Maxima, 205 horsepower, VVT. That's an amazing vehicle. Not a Nissan person, but I love that car. Celica GTS, the VVT Li. Same reason for the Sentra Spec V. They're just great cars. I've owned two SRT4s, PT Cruiser Turbo GT. I had that at 429 horsepower and 415 pound-foot of torque. It was a great car. I think the PT Cruiser Turbo is one of the best bangs for the buck, because you can drive fast, sound good, and when people look around, they have no clue that it's actually you. Although I am now on the Ecotech platform, and I have been on the platform for quite a while, I think that you can't debate that the PT Cruiser Turbo GT, the SRT4 are better cars, performance-wise, than the Cobalt SS and the HHR SS. For me, why I chose the Ion Redline, one is it's very rare, 5,500 cars made, and two, the interior is far better than the SRT4. Same thing for the PT Cruiser GT. That is an amazing interior, but I think the HHR SS interior, I think they thought that through a little better. Like I've said in previous videos, if I get a truck, it'll be a Honda Ridgeline. If I ran into the lottery, it would be a Nissan Titan with the Cummins in it. I don't care what anyone says. I've driven a few of them and I love them. Don't want a Duramax, don't want a Power Stroke, don't need anything that big, don't need anything that powerful. I just want something a little different. You know, it's weird when you talk to car guys, because I substantially different from a lot of people in the sense that I like things that are slightly rare and things that people wouldn't consider. But I don't like a few different cars. Nothing really comes to mind right now, but I don't like Civics. Just not my cup of tea. Never have. I don't like racing them because you never know what you're gonna get. I think thumbs up to them for being unpredictable. But as far as someone who's 37 years old like myself with kids, a house, things like that, I think that we should aim a little higher than a Civic. Unless you're building it specifically for the track, then that's different. An RSX Type S I would love to have at some point, so I can convert it to an Integra Type R of that generation. I would love to have a 99 2000 Integra Type R as well. B17 GSR, which is the early 90s GSR. After having my Integra and doing the GSR swap, I absolutely love the B series. I'm a B series guy when it comes to Honda engines. You know, K series guys, they can have the bragging rights of this and that, but there's nothing that sounds like a B series popping off VTEC, especially when it comes to the GSR. My buddy Ray had a B16 GSR, excuse me, B16 Civic Si, sorry, 99, yellow. And that changed my life as far as what I knew about all motor cars. I really appreciate the fact that my brother has never given up on me when it comes to cars and things like that. But he has been one of my biggest motivators, one of my biggest proponents for continuing my love and craft of automobiles. I am not, by any stretch of imagination, a lover of V8s. It's just not my thing. I love four-cylinder boosted cars, supercharged, turbo, whatnot. Although if I had a V8, it would be probably a Pontiac GTO like my stepdad had, 5.7, 6-speed, or the Vauxhall VXXR V8, or the Holden Monero. Those are cars that I would love. But those are all basically the Pontiac G8 GT and the Pontiac GTO. So we already have those here. But I would love to have those cars if I had the opportunity. I'm not a GM guy, not a Ford guy, not a Dodge guy. I'm just an equal opportunist. But the two cars I have now, my Ion Redline, which is my pride and joy, that will sit in the garage and be taken care of as I've done for the past couple years. I want to limit liability, not putting it on the road as much as possible. My Cadillac ATS 2.0 turbo, it's been an uphill battle fixing things that the dealership should have fixed, but it's finally where I want it to be, in terms of reliability and the running gear. And so it's running really good. I take it to California often. Took it to Flagstaff during snow, put it in snow mode, did great. So I really love this car. I think as far as performance shops, I think ZZP and OTTP here in Arizona, RPM Motorsports, which is in Mesa, they're going to be tuning my ATS. I appreciate those group of guys, especially Al at ZZP, because he's an LSJ guy. Love that guy. His knowledge is off the top, and it's stuff that he's done. I'm not a big proponent of LNFs, although my LTG is essentially an LNF. Most of the parts are very similar. I'm not going to tell you they're interchangeable, but they are very similar. The engines are very similar. The weak points are very similar. The build quality and the build points, things like that, are very similar. So I really do appreciate Al, and I appreciate everyone at ZZP. I'm not gonna sit there and tell you or blow smoke up your ass and say, oh well, they did this for me, they did that for me. I haven't ordered very many parts, but their videos are very helpful in guiding you into where you should be and where you want to be with your vehicle. Also, how to maintain that vehicle. That's what OTTP and a lot of other places, they do not do. They do not tell you how to maintain those vehicles and keep them on the road. So you know, that's just a little bit about me. Like I said, I will answer any all questions from anybody that wants to know a little more about myself. I'm not in this. I don't make videos to make money on YouTube. I don't make videos to satisfy other people's needs. I make videos because I enjoy doing them. Some people might say they're not professional, they're not this or not that. I really don't care. I do them because I enjoy doing them. Even if no one subscribed to me or no one watched my videos, I'd still do them. Because when you love automobiles and you love mechanics, you love engineering, you do things because you love them. You don't do them because other people give you a thumbs up. If they give you a thumbs up, that's cool. But that's not how I run. I run off of, you know, God, my family, and the needs that we have. And anything else other than that is extra. So if you guys have any questions on about me, like I said, my lifestyle, how I live, how I got where I'm at, because I am in a pretty good place financially and emotionally, educationally. I am far beyond where someone like me should be given my age. So you guys all have a great night. Stay blessed. For me, it's God, family, and beer. Like my email address says, I love beer. Not an alcoholic by any stretch of imagination, but my brother got me to love what's behind beer. So it's not just beer; it's what makes it. It's everything about it. So yeah, I'm a church going person. I'm a God fearing man, and I'm all about family. You know, I'm 37 years old, so I'm going to keep pushing. Hopefully, you know, tomorrow's not promised to us, but God allows me to wake up. And I'll keep posting. You guys have a great night. Deuces.